Fresh reports of strikes amid a renewed ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, putting strain on negotiations over the war in Iran. The Israeli military striking a village in Lebanon, the IDF warning of attacks on Hezbollah, ordering residents of Sarafan town to move north of the Zarani River. Of 3 villages north of the Litani River earlier told to evacuate, triggering mass displacement. Strikes overnight, killing 7 people in the southern Lebanese city of Tyre. Israel's defense minister says the IDF will not withdraw or halt operations despite the truce. Hezbollah has rejected that deal as well, brokered by the United States. That agreement hinging on an end to Hezbollah's attacks on Israel and its withdrawal from near the border. The militant group, however, was not party to the deal and has described the agreement as, quote, a roadmap to annihilate part of the Lebanese people. Hezbollah has instead demanded a comprehensive ceasefire and a full Israeli withdrawal from South Lebanon. But the U.S. president still upbeat on progress made to end the fighting. Donald Trump adding he's open to meeting the new Iranian supreme leader if there is an agreement to end the conflict between the U.S. and Iran. Renewed hostilities between Israel and Hezbollah, though, could make that very difficult, given Tehran's position that any deal must include Lebanon. More on this story, Dr H A Hellyer joins us live from Cairo. He's a senior associate fellow at the Royal United Services Institute for Defense. Thanks for joining us, Dr Hellyer. Well, let's get this clear. This agreement is between the Israeli and Lebanese governments. Hezbollah was not part of this agreement. Hezbollah is backed by Iran, has no interest in not attacking Israel. What reason would it have to abide by the ceasefire deal?
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be on your program. I should say that Hezbollah is technically part of the Lebanese government. So it is bound to actually uphold any agreement that the Lebanese government signs, unless it chooses to withdraw from the government. And in any case, the government is the government. I mean, this is part of the overarching problem within Lebanon. Lebanon has no leverage when it comes to the Israelis. The Israelis are in mass violation of international law when it comes to Lebanon in terms of invading and occupying its territory. There should be no debate about this basic set of facts. But alongside that, you have an armed militia backed by a foreign power, i.e. Hezbollah, that refuses to take orders from the Lebanese government. The Lebanese government have made it very clear that they seek the demilitarization of Hezbollah and ensuring that monopoly of force in Lebanon belongs to the Lebanese armed forces. And they're completely justified in this regard. Of course, focusing on Hezbollah at this particular point, I think escapes the overarching reality that the Israelis are in mass violation of international law in Lebanon. And this has been called out by the international community, by the European Union. It's been responsible for mass displacement in the south, for destruction of a lot of the south, for basically saying that they will carry out in Lebanon what they did in Gaza, where they face a genocide case at the International Court of Justice. So there isn't an incentive in this regard for Hezbollah to put down its arms. I would hope that national duty would see them doing so, because there's really no way that Lebanon can move forward with this sort of anarchy taking place. But I think that we also have to keep in mind that Hezbollah doesn't exist except as a result of an Israeli occupation.
Hezbollah also would not exist if it did not get very significant backing from Iran. Does Iran have any incentive to put any pressure on Hezbollah?
I would say that Hezbollah would exist. It wouldn't be as strong. It wouldn't be remotely as strong without that support from Iran, of course. Does Iran have an incentive? I think from Iran's perspective, Hezbollah is a big part, a major part, even a jewel in the crown of the networks of militias and allies that it has across the region as part of the so-called axis of resistance. And I think that Iran actually feels quite emboldened at the moment because it hasn't, as far as Tehran is concerned, it hasn't lost the war with regards to the United States. They feel that actually they've been victorious because the low bar that they set, which was the survival, has been met. And on top of that, they have new leverage with regards to the Strait of Hormuz. So I think that they feel emboldened and they'll be very reluctant to abandon Hezbollah, which they've always seen as an incredibly important part of their network of militias.
Well, neither the US nor Iran, you're saying Iran is emboldened, but the US as well insisting that it has won this war. Both sides saying each has won the war. Can we get any deal when neither will concede any losses?
It's difficult. Very admittedly, incredibly difficult, because you're absolutely correct. They both think that they've won. And they both want to have a deal that reflects victory in some shape or form. I think that there is a good chance for a deal because both sides want one. Both sides do not want to go back to war. The question is what both sides are going to be willing to swallow in this regard. And the presentation of the deal is going to be really paramount. But I do think that there's a good chance that there will be a deal. Having said that, the deal that we keep on talking about, it's not actually a deal, right? We're talking about a memorandum of understanding, for lack of a better phrase, and then a process to get to a deal over time. The JCPOA was, more than 100 pages. So you're not going to have something remotely similar to that in the space of a few days or a few weeks. The JCPOA took, I think, about a year and a half to negotiate. So we're not looking at a deal as much as we're looking at this MOU, which is supposed to bring an end to the war and allow for a process to then emerge.
Deal or no deal, this is the final question here. Gulf states, because of this war, will have to rethink what they need to do for their own security. So even at this point, looking ahead to what will permanently be in place rather than a deal, no deal, little details on that final question.
Absolutely. Now, I do think that when it comes to the Gulf Arab states are not looking to remove or eject the United States from the region. Whether or not they should or shouldn't is not the question. I don't think that they will. I don't think they're interested in that. I think, on the contrary, they will deepen the relationships that they have with the United States. But at the same time, they will ensure that it's not an exclusive one. And that's a trend that's been ongoing for many years now, where they're looking to diversify the defense capacity, build up more defense capacity at home, because they recognize that the United States isn't the dependable partner that they thought it was. And they don't want to be subject to a regional security order that centers either Israeli concerns or Iranian concerns. They want their own concerns to be centered. Having said that, it's very difficult to imagine a regional security architecture that does that if it's not actually built by the region itself, and that requires a lot more of a united front among the Gulf Arab states than currently exists, and I don't expect that to change in the near future.
Oh, thanks. Dr. H A Hellyer, Senior Associate Fellow at the Royal United Services Institute for Defence. Thanks for joining us this evening.